Good morning, I'm Constable Victor Kwong and welcome to the Toronto Police News for Friday the 1st of December 2017. On today's episode, we're going to be talking to you about a dynamic de-escalation. But first, here's a couple stories that happened in your city from last night. Have a good day. Is it recording? I'm going to wrap this around you. And today I have a little guest. His name is Christian. He stopped by to say hello. Christian, how are you?
Good.
Good. You wanted to say hello? Yeah? Just look into the camera there and say what you wanted to say.
Hi.
Hi, City of Toronto. And I don't know if you remember a story from, what was it, just last year, was it? 2 years ago, Christian was about to undergo a heart surgery, and he invited police officers, was it from this division right here, 41 Division, to come by his birthday party. And I understand that we have some great news today, that we're finding out that you're healing yourself, just like, what, Wolverine? This kid's a little superhero. That's awesome. Well, Christian, thank you for stopping by.
Okay.
Yeah, have a great day. Okay. Thank you so much. Oh. Here's a couple stories that happened in your city from last night. A man is in hospital with life-threatening injuries, and we're asking for your help in this investigation. Yesterday at 5 p.m., a cyclist was struck by an SUV at Bambrook Circle and Warden Avenue. Both the driver of the SUV and witnesses remained on scene. If you were driving in the area and saw something, or if you were driving and had your dash cam rolling, please call traffic services. Gunshots were fired at a cab this morning at about 2 a.m. Despite the cab driver's side door having bullets in it, neither the driver nor his fare were injured. Police are looking to see what the motive might be, and also trying to see if this passenger who was picked up at Dundas and Sherbourne was the intended target. If you have any information, please call 51 Division. Yesterday, at 10 a.m., police responded for a man who was threatening to take his own life. When they arrived on scene, they started speaking to the man to try to build a rapport with him. They soon discovered that he had a history of mental health illnesses and that this was not his very first time trying to take his own life. When emergency task force arrived, our professional negotiator started conversing with him as well. During this conversation, he did pull out a butcher knife. For his safety, a conducted energy weapon was deployed on the man, and he was taken to hospital to get the help he needs without any further injuries. Each year, the Toronto Police Service registers tens of thousands of encounters with people in crisis. Just last year alone, we had over 23,000 of these types of calls. That's roughly 63 people a day that we go to help, to get them the help they need, to bring them to hospital, or just to listen to when they have no one to turn to. And now, back to our feature story, to tell you about another one of these types of encounters. Today, we're acknowledging the efforts of 41 Division officers who safely de-escalated a woman who was 23 years old and trying to take her own life. Officers were called to an apartment at York Mills in Victoria Park. When they arrived on scene, they found a woman who was in obvious crisis. She was sitting on the ledge of her 4th-story balcony. They started talking to her from the ground floor to build a rapport in hopes that they would be able to convince her to come down from the ledge. Meanwhile, they were able to coordinate efforts to get her help while they were holding this conversation. One officer noticed that next door there was construction going on and that they had a SkyJack on the scene. They went over, spoke to the construction crew, and were able to borrow the SkyJack. They got into the SkyJack and ascended themselves to the 4th story so that they could speak eye to eye with the woman. All the while, another team of officers went to the 4th floor to wait outside of her apartment. All the other officers who arrived on scene, they pulled the back seats out of their cruiser and laid it down on the floor in the event that she might slip or fall. In the end, the officers were able to build a good enough relationship with the woman and were able to convince her to step off of the ledge and to go back into the apartment where officers were waiting to help her. She agreed, and with the trust that was built, she was taken to hospital to receive the help that she needs. And the story goes a little bit further, that sometimes it's just listening to not what's being said, but the background of the story. Throughout this whole ordeal, she was talking about a white dog that she couldn't find. The healthcare professional that was there with her had told officers that this lady didn't know what she was talking about, that there was no such dog. When the officers went in to her apartment to bring her to the hospital, they searched the apartment and they found a white Beanie Boo. They asked her if that was it, and that immediately enlightened her day. It's this story and the 23,000 other types of stories similar to this we would like to share with you.
Hi, I'm Jim Mackrell. I'm the inspector here at 41 Division. I've been on the job a very long time. The stories that you're hearing on this particular show are one or two of what happened in the past 24 hours and one feature from 41. But frankly, it's typical of the typical day of the average officer. They interact with people in crisis all the time. This one was a little different in that the bucket was used to interact with the lady. But it really is typical of an everyday experience of our officers, which they handle fantastically every day. We have a lot of stories that you will not hear because frankly, you couldn't handle them. These officers go to horrific stuff all the time. In the media, they refer to some assaults as horrific. It's because they've seen the video. Our officers go through this stuff every single day and have to live with it, and they do it fantastically. And they are my heroes. Thank you.
If you have a story idea or would like to see a unit or member featured in Toronto Police News, leave a comment on our YouTube page. Or you can send us an email at feedback.news@torontopolice.on.ca. That's it for today's episode. Thank you for watching. Stay safe.